And Glenn's word, which apparently is very easy to stack and very easily found in airports. Glenn, what was your word?
My word was the student high.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Gordon from the Board Game Barrister, our local game store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm here today with Elizabeth, Ian, Glenn, and Dylan, and we're talking mind map. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Mind Map, where we're going to figure out how much we think like each other in a graph. The idea in this game is that our graph has two axes, a vertical axis and a horizontal axis, and each of these represents a measure of different items. In this case, my horizontal axis is measuring how likely you would be to find an item in a teenager's bedroom, and my vertical axis is how useful this item would be during a zombie invasion. We're also randomly going to choose a reference word that's going to live at the dead center of this graph. So my reference item here is a movie ticket, meaning that the movie ticket is basically the reference for all the other items we're going to be putting out onto the board. We'll give some examples to clarify that in a second here, but for the time being, each player is going to start the game with one of these coordinate markers in their color, as well as vote markers for the number of players we have. And finally, each player is going to get one of these word cards that's going to tell them which of these words along the side is their word for the turn. We've got number 4, which means our secret word is string of lights. Now, without telling anybody else what word we got, we're going to put our coordinate marker out here on the board where we think a string of lights belongs. Remember, our axes are in a teenager's bedroom and useful during a zombie invasion, and we're thinking about them in relation to a movie ticket. So if we start with the axis of in a teenager's bedroom, I definitely think you'd be likely to find some string lights in a teenager's bedroom. Maybe not more likely than a movie ticket, though. This one is actually a pretty likely find in a teenager's bedroom. So I'm actually going to rate it a tiny bit less likely to be in a teenager's bedroom. And a string of lights in a zombie apocalypse. How useful do we think that is compared to a movie ticket? Just about everything we find is probably more useful than a movie ticket, right? But string of lights, not super useful. I'm going to put it a little bit higher than that movie ticket. Certainly other people will be finding much more useful things that you could actually use in a zombie invasion. Now all the other players are going to be doing the exact same thing at the same time, and when everybody's done it, the graph might look a little bit more like this. Now, we have no idea what words other people secretly got for the round, but our goal in this game is now to figure out what words we think they have, vote on them, and try to score some points. So let's start looking out at these coordinates and try to figure out what we think other people had. Now, purple has clearly gone for something that would be completely useless during a zombie invasion and also extremely unlikely to be found in a teenager's bedroom. If we start looking through the words on the side here, like matchbox, the newest smartphone, video projector, and car freshener, the thing that seems least likely that we'd find in a teenager's bedroom does definitely seem to be that video projector. There's just not a lot of likelihood you'd stumble upon that. Do I think that would be useful during a zombie invasion? Not particularly, unless I was really stretching my imagination. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess that the purple token is related to word number 3 here, the video projector. I'm going to take my number 3 token and secretly put that on top of that coordinate. So when everybody's made their votes, we're going to reveal all the votes on these tokens. I've just thrown a few out here for the sake of example, and we're going to see how everybody did. Now, each player of each color is going to announce what number they actually had for their word this turn, and we're going to score points based on that. So we'll score a point for every single player who we guessed correctly which number their coordinates were supposed to be. So if purple said I had number 3, and we had put our 3 vote token on them, we get a point for that. And each player will have put a token on our coordinate tracker as well here, and for each player who got our number correct, we score a point. So one player correctly guessed we had number 4, which means we get a point for that, and they get a point for that. So we'll score up the number of times we voted correctly and the number of times we were correctly voted on at the end of each round. And we're going to play 3 rounds total, see who has the most points at the end of that, and then they're our winner.
I love the hilarity of everything being completely subjective in this game. That is where the absolute comedy comes from, because we're all trying to make our judgments of where something would be on a certain axis, but the problem is we all have different brains, and we all have different imaginations of where something would be on a particular scale.
Yeah, I think it's great because the best part of party games for me is the table talk and the banter that happens between the players, and this one really lets you lean into that because you get to poke fun at where people are placing their stuff and where they think was useful, not useful on a scale compared to some random word in the middle of it, like compression socks or paperclip, which is a really neat kind of concept to come up with because you've got to think through the word in your own head and then defend yourself when everybody does or doesn't vote for your word. So, all right, you guys ready?
No.
engagement ring.
Yes!
And
Right? Healthy
Yep.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Super scary.
Yep. Yep.
More healthy than compression
Yes!
sex?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Being in a marriage is extremely healthy. You're saying that women don't think a marriage is a healthy lifestyle? Is that what we're saying on YouTube right now?
You heard it here first.
Not me.
And what I like is that there's two types of table talk, right? There's the table talk when everything is secret and you're, kind of first evaluating what the words are, and then as people are putting their clues in, like, who's doing this, right? Who's the moron who did this combination, right? And then at the reveal, then you've got the defending yourself and the table talking again. In fact, even at the start of recording the second segment, we're still table talking about, the zombie apocalypse and smartphones, so.
I really like the simultaneous gameplay for this one. A lot of party games will be do this, then wait for something, then do this, then wait for somebody else, or wait for another team. In this one, it's all simultaneous. The voting phase, the placement phase, the thinking phase of where you're going to put your own token, and then the banter phase where we're all just joshing around at the end of it, talking to each other, but it's all just constant interaction the entire time with the game, and you never have this weird lull of waiting for somebody else to do something, because the simultaneous play allows you to play more players in more function, especially when you get up into those 8+ marks of your big parties. You really want to have everybody playing at the same time, or you're just gonna have a ton of downtime. So I like that a lot.
The part that I really liked is the chaos of it. There's just chaos when you place something. People are trying to guess right away what you're doing when you place it, and when it's revealed, depending on how you want to reveal it, can add another layer of chaos of, I see you place that way in the corner where it's neither. Let's see how right or wrong you are in this, and add some nice chaos and, like Ian was saying, table talk.
I question some of you.
Yeah?
I'm not sorry.
No, wait, hang on. What did I put here? Why? Okay, so if that's that, then one of these can't be that. That's nonsense.
This is.
One really neat note about Mind Map is it is one of those party games that really has you thinking. It's definitely like a creative thinking game, but in this game, nobody has to think of an idea. Like, no one has to come up with a clue or a clever hint or make up a word off the top of their head or use a phrase that they invented themselves. All the material is right there. So if you do have anybody in your group who hates being put on the spot to think of something, you don't have to do that in this game, but it's still this really, really clever, let me use my brain to think about this hilarious party game.
I like when I really have to adjust for who I'm playing with. Because if I was playing with all my movie buddies, these answers would be a lot different. And I'd have to then think, oh, that's right, you're the one who always thinks that this is super useful in a zombie apocalypse. That's got to be you, Bob. And when you're playing with people you don't know as well, it changes things up too. And I think we see it too a little bit here, is there's a little bit of an age gap here. so like what Dylan will think is, won't be here in 50 years might be vastly different than what I think, because I'm like, but that's already been around for like 90 years. It's going to stick around even longer.
All right, thank you, everybody. That about does it for our thoughts on Mind Map. We really had a great time playing. I hope you got some good insights from our discussion. Until then, we'll see you next week. Bye.